Hello and welcome to Rathod's IS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 21st August 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So here in this class, I'm taking 9 articles which appeared in today's Hindu, and we are going to analyze each and every article so that will be very helpful to improve your thought process, to get dimensions, and to make down the important keywords that you need to represent in your mains answer. Okay, so let me show you articles directly. So read this article. Title says, after backlash, union government cancels lateral recruitment. So here the keyword is lateral recruitment. So what is the meaning of lateral recruitment? Or we can see this as lateral entry. So if you want to become IAS officer or IPS officer, so you need to write exam, UPSC exam, right? UPSC civil service exam, and you have to clear your prelims, mains and interview, and then you will be getting services. But what does this lateral entry is? For medium level and for senior level officers, so government will be recruiting officers without keeping any examinations, but it is based on their experience. Okay, so this is called as lateral entry. So actually government said that we are going to recruit certain number of officers under this lateral entry, but the problem in that lateral entry was, so government said that we are not going to give any reservation. Government said we are not going to give any reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBC. So because this statement of government, that led to protest by opposition parties and other members, and finally this lateral entry recruitment had been cancelled by government. So this is a story. Clear? So now tell me, what are the advantages of lateral entry and what are the disadvantages? Because you are preparing for this examination. Come on, think and tell me, what are the advantages and what are disadvantages? Yes, experience and expertise people, we can recruit them so that there will be improved governance making process. Next. Okay, so after once this class is done, you have to note down what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of this lateral entry. It is very important because there is a high chance of getting question regarding this lateral entry in your mains for 10 marker. Okay, so let us see this article. So before that, from which subjects you will be dealing with this? Okay, governance, GS paper 2. Apart from that, okay, society, polity. Okay, so these are subjects that you can deal with. So here this article is saying that our union government cancelled UPSC's lateral recruitment process for middle and senior level officers because of backlash regarding lack of reservation for SC, ST and OBC. Okay, so here article 16 subclass 2 and article 16 subclass 4 talks about, yes, government can provide some affirmative action, but here our union government is not providing reservation for this lateral entry for this SC, ST and OBC now. So because of this had been cancelled. Okay, what can you understand from this article? What are the points that you have to remember? So first one is, for socially backward people, we need to provide social justice. For that, government need to give affirmative action. And recently we discussed some article like how can we improve presentation of representation of this SCs and STs in officers post, right? So there, what are the points we discussed? We have to increase retirement age and we have to focus on age limit. Next, we need to improve awareness about examination and all. Yes or no? Everything gone, right? No? Then why are not answering? Online students, please tell me what we discussed in the last 2 days class. Okay, so here we can understand that recruitment had been cancelled because opposition parties and some allied parties, so they are boycotting this and they are doing protest against this. So because of this, government cancelled this recruitment process. That means we can understand, yes, government is responding to public sentiment and even government is responding to political pressure, particularly regarding this social equity. Okay, it is responsibility of government to give affirmative actions for the adequate representation of this underprivileged or vulnerable people in the society, right? And this one here is, we can understand that there is backlash. Okay, so strong opposition is coming from various political factions, including allies, and even if you see at the central level, so we have what? We have which type of government? Coalition government. So even in that coalition government also there are some misunderstandings which are going on between this topic. So because of this again, so this decision was taken by the government. And so that we can understand the importance of social consensus in the social matters. So whenever we are having this coalition government, so this type of issues will happen. So there is a need of proper consensus before taking any decision. Okay, that is very important point that you need to remember. And this one is, there are some issues regarding reservation. So reservation for this marginalized communities in recruitment process is very, very important. If in case the government is not providing reservation, that will lead to this kind of what? This kind of reflection in the social debates, and as well as even there will be questions regarding social equity and representation in the government jobs. So how many people they had been recruited, okay, so how much percentage of quota they are getting. So all these debates will be going on. And this one is, even we need ministerial communications also. So actually now union minister who gave the letter to this UPSC regarding this cancellation of this recruitment process. So if you want to ensure proper alignment on the policy initiatives and social justice, even between the ministers also we need proper communication. And next one is, earlier we had lots and lots of committees regarding the recommendations of UPSC. So in that they said that in lateral entry we have to provide even reservations for this SCs, STs and OBCs regarding this lateral entry also, that had been not followed. So because of this, now there are questions to raise it regarding this affirmative action and administrative improvements and how far our government is following the recommendations of the committees. Okay, so these are the points that you need to remember. And you can see what is this lateral entry. Lateral entry refers to the process of appointing individuals outside the government directly without any examination for low or else middle or higher positions. Okay, so the important aim it is to bring domain specific expertise and fresh perspectives to change the governance, to improve the governance making process. So this is very, very important. Okay, so in this lateral entrance, they will be signing the contracts. It may be for 3 years or it may be extended for 5 years, not more than 5 years. So this is also you have to remember. And who are eligible? So the people who are expertise in certain domain, for example, economics, for example, health, for example, education. Okay, and who had been proven with a track record in relevant fields. For example, if they work in any private sector, or if they're working with the state governments or autonomous bodies or any other public sector undertakings, they can apply for these positions and government will be recruiting them based on the eligibility criteria. Okay, so see this article, India Malaysia upgrade strategic partnership and discuss entry into BRICS. So what are the keywords here? Only BRICS. Okay, strategic partnership. Next one is India and Malaysia. Okay, first let us see BRICS. What is this BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Are these 5 countries only the members of this BRIC? No. So apart from this, in 2023, 4 countries they joined this BRICS, and now there is a proposal that Malaysia also want to join this BRICS. We don't know whether it will happen or not, but it applied for the membership for this BRICS now. Okay, so here there is a high chance of getting question regarding this membership of BRICS. So there you can expect a question like, consider the following countries and they'll give you 4 to 5 countries and they'll ask which of the above countries are part of BRICS or not part of BRICS. So in this way you can get a question. So you have to be very much thorough regarding the BRICS membership. And next you have to know what are the aims and objectives of BRICS. And you have to know what is the significance of BRICS. Okay, so these two are very important. And apart from that, India-Malaysia relations is also very important. So where is this Malaysia is located? Huh? Is it part of Africa or Asia or North America, South America? Okay, it is a part of Asia, right? Okay, so here you have to see countries which are sharing boundaries, and even you have to see nearby water bodies in your atlas. Okay, so whenever you are getting any country with relationship with India, you have to focus on three important things. So first one is you have to see history of relations between India and that so and so country, and you have to see areas of cooperation. So in which areas we are having proper cooperation with that country, and you have to see what are the challenges. So if you are doing with these three, so this history you can write in your introduction part. The question will be on based on area of cooperation as well as challenges, and you have to focus on what measures we can take to improve this relations further. So these four are the very important things in your international relations. Okay, on these four only you will be getting questions. And from prelims you will be getting questions regarding the location. Okay, that comes under part of your mapping. Okay, so now let us see here this article. So this article is saying that India and Malaysia, they want to upgrade their relationship so that they are going to come up with comprehensive strategic partnership. So this is a thing which is mainly happened whenever our prime ministers of this Malaysia and as well as India, they had talks. So but till now there is no finalization of this comprehensive strategic partnership. And actually one more thing they discussed in this recent meet is, so Malaysia even gave the application regarding joining of BRICS. So why Malaysia wants to join the BRICS? What might be the thing? So if you see the world map, so we have one S-shaped ocean. What is that? Yeah, Atlantic. So this is Atlantic Ocean. And now here we have Indo-Pacific Ocean here, right? So earlier the power is concentrated with European countries, right? So we think that European countries and American countries or American continent, so this is very much powerful. So we are considering it as like power used to present with these countries. But nowadays what happened, the power shift is happening from west towards east. That means there is increased relevance of Indo-Pacific region now. So every country is focusing on this Indo-Pacific region. So every country especially wants to have the good relationship with the countries which are sharing boundary with this Indo-Pacific, and India is such a country which is sharing directly the boundary with this Indian Ocean, that is a part of Indo-Pacific. So every country wants to have a good relationship with India now. So because of this, many European countries, they are coming to India and they are having many agreements with India. So actually here, whenever you're talking about Indo-Pacific region, we are having lots and lots of challenges. Can you tell me what are the challenges in this Indo-Pacific region? First one is Chinese aggressive expansionist policy. So I think 2 to 3 days ago, we discussed about string of pearls. So where China is developing ports in the different countries to increase its presence in maritime sector. Next. Yeah, piracy. Piracy is nothing but attacking of ships. Okay, whenever there is attacking of aircrafts and whenever they are taking the country, it is called as hijack. So in the case of ship, we will be calling it as piracy. Okay. Apart from piracy, come on, think. So after this class you have to find out what are the challenges in Indo-Pacific region. It is very important. At least 5 to 6 points you have to make a note regarding what are the challenges we are having in this Indo-Pacific region. So actually here, why Malaysia wants to join this BRICS? Because we need to have proper freedom of navigation. So whenever you're talking about trade, we need proper navigation. So in this navigation, we need to have the freedom. So there should be no one country should be having the dominance or monopoly in this region. And next one here is we need peaceful dispute resolution also. So if there is any dispute, we need to have a proper dispute thing, okay, resolution. So BRICS will be acting as a platform for the better dispute resolution. So that here Malaysia wants to join this BRICS now. So if you see some important details that you need to focus from this article here is, we are focusing on upgrading of partnership. How? We are going to have comprehensive strategic partnership. So that means whenever we are coming up with this type of agreements, we can understand that we are focusing on improving of our bilateral relations between India and as well as Malaysia. So whenever we are having the strategic partnership, so in which areas we can have the good relations? In the trade, in this security, and in this culture exchange. So in these areas we are going to have good relationship with Malaysia. And if you see the geopolitical implications, so the discussions, they are focusing on Southeast Asia. So in the Southeast Asia, the problem here is there is dominance of China's. Okay, and even yesterday's class, I said about the South China Sea, where Chinese influence is increasing, and China came up with this building of artificial islands. For example, Parcels, Partly, Scarborough, and also China is claiming the region by drawing 9 dashed line. So that will be dealt clearly in your international relations. Okay. So here, especially to counter this Chinese influence also, this will be very helpful. And if you see here, BRICS aspiration, so Malaysia now wants to join this BRICS, especially because it wants to align with emerging economies. So if you see BRICS, Brazil, Russia, China, India and South Africa. Apart from that, we are having some other little countries. But if you see, China is the largest economy, and even Russia is also part, and India is also. So top 3 countries are the part of this BRICS itself. So here Malaysia wants to align with the emerging economies. So here, whenever Malaysia will become the part of this BRICS, then it is having a good influence in the global economic discussions also. So because of this, it wants to utilize this BRICS as an advantage. And this one is even we are focusing on freedom of navigation, and it is our India's commitment, because US and India and as well as Japan, Australia, so they form a grouping called as Quad. So we're just focusing on improving of security in this Indo-Pacific region. So whenever it is becoming the part, yes, India is having a commitment of freedom of navigation, and India is focusing on opening of open sea routes. It don't want to increase one country's influence on this sea, okay, which is very much helpful for trade and as well as security in this region. So if it is forming the part of this BRICS, India can be supporting this Malaysia. And next one here is, if you are having this kind of agreement, or if it is a part of such a grouping, so if there are any conflicts, so conflict resolution will be happens within a very less time, so that it will be not affecting the country's economy in the long run. Okay, so these are the points that you have to remember. Okay, so let us see about this BRICS. So recently, BRICS foreign ministers held their first meet. So actually in 2023, there were 4 countries which had been joined or become the part of this BRICS. First one is Egypt, second one is Iran, third one is UAE, Saudi Arabia and even Ethiopia, 5 countries. And this came into effect from 1st January 2024 onwards. And now if the application of this Malaysia had been accepted, then Malaysia becomes the country which joined this BRICS in 2024. So here you have to remember the countries which joined in which year in the sequence. Okay. And next, what is significance? If you see the countries which are part of this BRICS, so approximately 3.5 billion people are part of this grouping, and 45% of world's population, they are part of here. So you can see China, India, if you see these both, most of the population will be covered here itself. And if you see 28% of the world or global economy is present in this group itself. And Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, they are part of this grouping. These are the countries which are focusing on this global crude oil production. About 44% of this global crude oil will comes from these three countries, and they are part of this group. Okay, so this is a significance. On this significance also sometimes you can get a question. You should be very much careful. And you have to see countries of that group and their economies depend upon what. Then you will be writing the significance clearly without referring any book. Okay? Yeah, see this article. Okay, say this image, not article. So here this image shows about the BRICS countries and their GDPs. The first here is China, second is India, Russia, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, Ethiopia, South Africa and Egypt. You have to remember all these countries. Yeah, say this article and you have to give answers for this now. Be prepared. Title says a ground plan for sustainable mass employment. So the problem we are facing in India is unemployment. So what is the rate of unemployment? Very good, 9.2. So unemployment rate is 9.2% in India. So this article is saying that we have to provide mass employment opportunities. But how? Tell me how we can improve employment opportunities. Think and tell me. So this is your article. Come on, come on. How can we improve employment? Very good. Skills. Okay, skills. Next. Yes, we have to focus on education. Come on, you can do it. Yes, technology in education. Okay, providing incentives to companies. So whatever the things we did in our budget, come on, get it out. Huh? Okay, next. Yes, we have to promote MSME. Yes, we have to focus on women participation. So when we can improve women's participation? Yes, we have to enhance safety. Next. Okay, we have to remove gender equality and equal pay. Next. Equal pay. Yeah, awareness. Okay, so how means here we can write private investment. Private investment. Okay, bottom to top development. That's what this Niti Aayog is doing, right? Apart from planning commission. Planning commission will be from top to down approach. But here in this Niti Aayog, we have bottom top approach. Next. Yes, support from family, okay. Can you add anything? Yeah, you can connect. So you can take case studies of other countries, how they are dealing with this unemployment. For example, you can take US, China, Japan. So these countries are doing well in this things. Next. Okay, that comes under investment, foreign investment. Next. Come on, you can do it. Rural development, how? Okay, irrigation system in rural areas. Next. Improving? Okay, MG Narega. Proper implementation, increasing of budget. That is a problem, right? Next. Actually, these points are given in this article. Okay, so this article is saying that we have to create mass employment, and here we have to focus on the first one is skilling initiatives. Next one is convergence of education health services. You missed this health point. So we have to provide even the proper health so that we can increase the contribution of that so and so person to our economy. And actually we have to include even women. Actually women are mainly involved in this care work of home, right? So rather than that, if they are getting some supporting working men for women, what happens, their contribution can be increased. Okay, and even we have to focus on dignity in employment, especially whenever there is increasing of dignity in employment and whenever we are focusing on safety of women, obviously we can improve their contribution, right? And even there are challenges of low wages for women, so we have to remove that, and we have to focus on inadequate public goods. That means we have to focus on public goods and raw materials should be reached that so and so manufacturing sector on time. So if you see the details, it is saying that our government proposed 2 lakh crore budget which is focusing on especially for job creation. So there they said they are going to give incentives and even skilling internship for the people, right? So in the same way here, we have to focus on especially rather than only focusing on this manufacturing industries, we have to focus on even whatever the skill they require, we have to focus on that. So whenever government is focusing on providing that much budget on unemployment and to create employment, we can understand that our government is prioritizing the shift from employment, and they understood that this employment is one of the key economic driver. So because of unemployment, the result had been seen in the elections in 2024, right? So they want to prioritize whatever the issues they are lost. And next one is they are saying that we have to focus on local community, especially in the local community, we have to identify whatever the skills they required. Okay, and they have to focus on that skill enhancements. Okay, so that we can enhance the effectiveness of government programs. And next one is we have to focus on comprehensive development. So comprehensive development including different fields. So we have to focus on education, we have to focus on health, employment initiatives, and human development so that we can focus on sustainable progress. And this one is even we have to focus on vocational training. Vocational training means after one's course is done, so whatever the training or whatever the skills or small courses you will be doing, no, that is called as vocational training. And whenever we are focusing on this vocational training, after once the study is completed, we can enhance employment opportunities. And next one is even whatever the healthcare we are providing, we have to focus on the quality of the healthcare. Okay, so that obviously the disease curing time will be reduced. The so and so person who is contributing to the economy will be obviously increased. And even we need some support structure for women. For example, child care concerns. We need to promote gender equality, and we have to focus on equal pay for women and men. Okay, like that. Okay, so those are the things which are given. So what are the points you said? They are there directly, right? Yes or no? So you missed only holistic approach, that is health. And see this article, West Asia crisis spells tough choices for China and Russia. What this article might be talking about? Think. West Asia, what is happening in West Asia? Israel, Hamas. So recently what happened? Hamas leader, he was assassinated. And after that what happened? Come on, you can do it. Recall the things. Don't keep the content as scrap in your brain. Don't make the content to be getting rusted. Okay? Come on, you can do it. Tell me. Okay, because of tensions, even flights got cancelled. Next. So what Iran is saying regarding this Hamas leader death? On that day I said, tell me. Huh? They want to make retaliation against Israel, right? So whenever this kind of issues are happening, so why this China and Russia are bothering? Okay, so they are having okay good relation with Iran. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there are difference between, okay, so I want to tell one thing. So here which countries are involved? West Asia is there together, and another side we have Russia and China, and another side we have USA. So these two are friends, and these two countries common enemy. Common enemy is USA. And if you see wherever any other country they are fighting, USA will be standing first. They want to show the big brother attitude. And even USA wants to come up with the consultation, mediation, everything here. So this is not seen as good for this China and Russia, right? So actually here, China and Russia wants to eliminate the dominance of USA anywhere. Okay, and even personally, China and USA are having their own issues, and Russia and USA are also having their own issues. So now let us see this and let us try to understand why it is a tough choice for China and as well as Russia in this West Asia. So recently what happened, the assassination of Hamas leader whose name is Hania has intensified the tensions between Israel and Iran. So Iran is saying that this leader had been killed by Israel itself. So Israel is supported by which country? USA. USA is supporting this Israel. So this is the one issue. We can understand that USA is supporting Israel. That means Israel is against China and as well as Russia. So here China and Russia, they want to maintain a very cautious distance while pursuing individual interest in this region. Okay, and actually these two countries, China and Russia, they want to abolish or they want to diminish US influence in this region, but they want to come up with the different strategies. So let us try to see which strategies here China and Russia are using to diminish the power of USA in this West Asia. So here China is trying to mediate and they are trying to support this Palestinian causes. So on one side USA is supporting Israel. So here opposite person is Palestine. So here China and Russia, they have to utilize this Palestine to diminish this power of USA, right? So here China is seeking to mediation. It is giving support to this Palestinian causes, and Russia is focusing on involving of military in this Syria. Okay, and even if you see on another side, Iran which is a nuclearized country. So because of this, now the concern between Russia and here China is whether to involve with this Iran or not, or else they want to have a balanced power with this Iran or not, because it is already having the nuclear capabilities, and because of this advanced nuclear capacities of Iran, so China and Russia are thinking whether to involve here or not. So if you see the details and what are the key points in this article here is, so we can understand that there is escalation, that is increasing of tensions because of assassination of this Hamas leader, and because of this we can understand that in that region also there is increasing of conflict. So we are saying that there is very volatile environment here. We don't know like which country is going to influence which part. And next one here is actually Iran is having some resource strain. So it is not having the proper resources, because you know about this Iran's nuclear deal. It came up in year 2015. Okay. So it is also called as JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. So actually here different countries they impose restrictions on this Iran regarding nuclear development, but here USA had been came out of this IND, that is Iran's nuclear deal. So it is also one cause of concern between Iran and USA. So whenever Iran and USA, they are opposite countries, obviously China and Russia will be entering there, right? So here Russia and China, they want to give some support to this Iran, but they are not taking the proper decision because it's already nuclear developed country. So this country may attack this Russia and as well as China in future. So because of this, here they are thinking whether to invest here or not. And next one is here China is following a diplomatic role here, because China itself, it is a very important player in this West Asia, and it is having its own alliances, and it is promoting against Western intervention. So, you don't want here US to intervene in this West Asia. And next one is Russia is doing its own strategy, that is military strategy. It is increasing its military presence in this Syria so that it wants to challenge US dominance in this West Asia. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said, that's it. Okay, see this article, India, Japan conduct 2+2 dialogue with focus on Indo-Pacific. Again, there is one more article regarding Indo-Pacific. So because of that, I am saying you have to understand what is the importance of Indo-Pacific and even what are the challenges we are having in this Indo-Pacific region. So tell me, what is this 2+2 dialogue? Okay, 2 means, so here this article is talking about 2+2 dialogue between India and as well as Japan. So 2 ministers, okay, foreign ministers, here also foreign minister, and here we have defense minister and defense minister. So one foreign minister from India, one foreign minister from Japan, and the defense minister of Japan and defense minister of India, they will be sitting together and they will be talking, and this meet is called as 2+2 meeting. So here you can get a question like 2+2 ministerial dialogue is in use. It is between which ministries? Home Ministry, Finance Ministry, Finance Ministry, Defense Ministry, Defense Ministry, Foreign Ministry, Foreign Ministry, Agriculture Ministry. So in this way you will be getting questions, so you should not confuse in your examination. Okay, and one more area you can get question is, with which countries India had this 2+2 dialogue? So it is saying India and Japan. Apart from this Japan, with which countries we are having this dialogue? In this way also you can get question. Okay. Yeah, between USA, next Russia, Japan, and one more country. Okay, I'll let you know. So here this article is saying that India, Japan held 2+2 dialogue, and here we are focusing on defense cooperation, and we are also focusing on free and open region, free and open Indo-Pacific region. We don't want to have the expansionism or expansionist policy of this China, because Indo-Pacific region, so we understood that there is increasing of Chinese assertiveness or aggressive policy. So for this, we are having this 2+2 dialogue between India and as well as Japan. So what are the points you have to remember? First one is this dialogue which shows about the importance of Indo-Pacific region, and actually this kind of meetings that we are going because to counterbalance, that is to counter China's presence in this region. And next one is we want to improve our alliances. That means we want to improve our relations, especially in defense, especially in collective approach of providing regional security, etc. And next one is we want to focus on democratic foundations. That means we have to uphold whatever the international norms are there, whatever the international laws are there. We have to ensure that we are following all of those. And next one is we have to focus on the defense capabilities. Like we can share our military capabilities, what advanced technology we are having, what advanced technology they are having. So is there any chance of technology transfer or not? Is there any chance of getting that so and so equipment for our country? So in this way, we are focusing on long-term security and as well as development. And even we can enhance our bilateral cooperation, because we are going to have like joint exercises, technological sharing, etc. So those points, it is enough. And what is this 2+2 meeting? It is a high-level representation of both participating countries like foreign affairs ministers and defense ministers. And what is the aim? The aim it is to improve discussions, improve relations regarding concerns, regarding which are the sensitive areas, so that we can increase our global environment. Okay, so that's thing. So here you have to see the countries: US, Japan, Australia, and Russia. So with these 4 countries, we are having this. And what is the importance? The first importance here is we can discuss the key issues like defense, security, trade, investment, technology, and even we can improve our bilateral relations. And next one here is we can focus on regional as well as global matters like terrorism and as well as climate change, etc. On these issues, we can have the proper talks. And see this article, trade, defense, culture ties to be in focus during Prime Minister visit to Poland. Our Prime Minister is visiting Poland. So whenever this kind of news will be coming in news, you have to open your atlas and see where is this Poland is located, which countries are sharing boundary, or else what are the nearby water bodies. Because last year you got question regarding North Sea. So we don't know from which point UPSC will pick up the question. So you have to see the water bodies. And next here you can see Sikkim landslide damages building of NPHC project. So where you have to know about what is a landslide, types of landslides, cause of landslide, impact of landslide. So whenever you are writing impacts, so you have to add this article. So in the recent Sikkim landslide, so NPHC project, that is National Hydroelectric Power Corporation project, had been get damaged. So you have to write this kind of case studies to support your arguments. Okay, there you can use it. And here you can see other articles on the ethanol blending program. So what is this ethanol blending? Ethanol, it is a biofuel. So here we are mixing this ethanol with petrol. So 20%, that means 20% of ethanol should be blended, mixed with this petrol. So what happens if you are blending ethanol with petrol? Okay, emissions will be reduced. How? So if you are using only petrol, what happens? The petrol will be burned incompletely. So because of this, we can get ash or soot. Okay. But if you are blending ethanol, we can ensure the complete burning of petrol so that we can decrease greenhouse emission gases. And this one is we are getting crude oil from other countries. So because of this, if you are blending 20% of ethanol, we can reduce the import of this crude oil so that we can save our foreign reserves, right? So you have to see what is this ethanol blending program, what is the target of India and present status of this program, what are the advantages and disadvantages. So all these things that you have to remember. And say this article regressive move. So you know about this RG Kar hospital incident, right? Yes. So actually this incident had happened on a trainee doctor after 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. So 2 a.m. So here this article is saying that whenever we want to enhance the safety of women in the workplace, so we can reduce the work hours of women. Is it correct or not according to your idea? So whenever we are decreasing the work hours of women, can we ensure the safety? Yes or no? Yes? No? So come up with your own perspective. So if I say something here, it will become controversial. So you have to come up with the positives and negatives regarding this step and tell me like whether you'll be okay with that or whether you're against with that. Huh? Okay. So these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. So if you really like this class, hit the like button and please to share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathod IAS Academy. And thank you so much for watching.